I'll tell one story. It was in this 1 week that we paid all this money for to do this pilgrimage. Byrne demonstrated and drew the entire time and would then turn and lecture and then go back and turn and lecture. And then by day 2, he was talking more about politics than he was about anatomy. And by the time we got to day 3, he was on everything about political stuff, about the oil crisis, about how it can be solved, about religion and mysticism and the problems of this and that. And one woman, I don't know where she was from, but she had an accent, and she said, "You are a great artist, and I have traveled around the world to be with you this week so that I can learn from you, and you do not teach me. You talk about that." And Byrne looked at her while she was talking, then he looked at us, and he looked at several of us to see if any of us were going to defend him, and we all sat there and we didn't defend him. And he backed off, and he taught beautifully that afternoon. And then the next day, Thursday, he was in pretty good form, and somewhere in the afternoon, he started to get off onto something about whatever the president, who I don't even remember which president was at the time. And that woman said, "Legs." And somebody else said, "Legs." And then several of us said, "Legs." And he picked up the cue immediately and went right back to what he was talking about, which was the anatomy of the leg. I also found that even when he was teaching the rhythm as he explained all of these muscles, I already knew anatomy at that time. But if I was a beginner, I would have been completely lost. Because he was just saying, this is there's the rectus femoris, that goes from the anterior inferior, and that goes into the, shares it with the crurius, etc. And if you didn't know it,
right, he wasn't teaching it.
Right, he was. So I thought the better thing to do, because I was also drawing while he was drawing. I thought this is a better investment of money. Just watch him. And I watched how he could put a line on any form and knew it as a cross contour. And when I came away from that, I had a higher standard of what competent draftsmanship was.
Yeah.
Also, he did those Tarzans. I don't know if you know, he did some really remarkable comic book work in the mid 20th century.